Hello and welcome to Vacation Yoga. It has been a while, a couple months since my last recording, but I did want to try to stop in here once a week and add a video that might be helpful for you. So as I record this, we're getting our first snowstorm of the Northeast season, first winter snow, and it's a doozy. We've got quite a bit out there. I think we're going to get close to a foot of snow, which in Massachusetts is quite a lot. So I'm thinking about getting really nice and cozy. So this practice today is designed so that you can also get really nice and cozy any time of year. It doesn't have to be our snowy period of winter, but anytime you just need a moment to decompress. So I'm going to have us start with a few supports, which you may or may not have. First of all, a bolster if you have it. If you don't, you're going to take two cushions. It could be couch cushions, it could be heavier duty pillows, and you're going to line them up. You want some blocks too. So set up your blocks in this T shape. Take your bolster, set it onto those blocks, and feel free to add another blanket at the end of that. We are going to straddle the bolster so the legs are on either side. And you can let your legs relax, or you could flex at the ankles for a little more strength. And then feel free to start to relax down toward the bolster. For me, I have a lot of space between the bolster and myself. So bending my knees might be helpful to relax down, perhaps changing the bolster and bringing it up a little closer to me, or even adding a blanket on top of that bolster might be helpful. For me, I'm just going to stack my hands and let my body slowly relax down to the bolster here. So this is a pose called a fan pose in restorative yoga. So you're going to set this up to what works for you without having to force your body into anything in particular. You can let the back round a little if you'd like to. And then come into your breath. Start to breathe slowly in through the nose. And then slowly out of the nose. And then breathing in for 3, 2, 1, and slow breath out. 2, 1, breathing in and out. One more like that, in and out. And take a moment to let the legs splay off to each side. The ankles relax, the knees soften. The hips are relaxed out so that the glutes are soft. If the forehead is resting on your bolster or support, you might rock the head a little side to side to stimulate the third eye chakra. If not, you might rock the head side to side to release tension from the neck. We'll give this about 3 more breaths. Slowly start to peel yourself up and away from your bolster. If you set the bolster sideways, you're going to bring it back so it can rest down on your blocks. Spin yourself around. So now you're facing the opposite direction. And relax the back body onto the bolster. Legs will extend out in front of you, and do add another blanket underneath the knees if that's helpful. You've got your arms along your side with your palms up. And again, you can let the legs splay out a bit And let the back body be supported by this bolster. You've got your shoulders heavy on either side. You'll tune into the breath in and the breath out. Note any fluctuations in the mind. And we expect as we slow things down that the mind might continue to go at the same rate we were physically going. So just because we slow down the physical body does not mean that the mind got the message. So continue to focus on your breath. Continue to feel the breath in your body. Just continue to notice what you feel in your body, including perhaps the back of the hands as they rest down on the floor underneath you, the feeling of the bolster along your spine. And then places that are soft and receiving here. Perhaps the belly is soft or the legs just simply relaxed outward. It could be that your pinky finger is relaxed and that's it. Bring your attention to what feels like it's letting go. I'm going to give this about 3 more breaths. And press down in the hands. You want the palms down as you press down. You're going to peel yourself away from your mat. Lift yourself up. Take Sukhasana or cross-legged seat. And sit up really nice and tall. So you've got your shoulders, hips lined up. You've got your shoulders and your ears lined up. And you'll take your left arm and just reach it up and overhead. Your right hand supports you in any way you need. Lift back up again and let's try the other side. Now right arm's reaching up and overhead. And then coming back into center. You'll take both hands behind the head. Rest the head in your hands as you cradle the head back and look up. And then gently tuck your chin in towards your chest. Let your arms relax back down. And start to rock the head side to side. Ear to shoulder, chin to center, ear to shoulder. As the head approaches the right, take a pause. Shoulders stay heavy. Reach the left fingertips down outside the hip and breathe into the side of the neck, the shoulder, the jaw. And then to the other side, chin to center, head lolls to the left now. Pause, head heavy, shoulders relaxed. And reaching your fingertips down again to the mat or the earth underneath you. Breathe into the right side of your body. Then come back into center, chin tucked, lift up, big circles of the shoulders, opening up here, and reverse. Wonderful, extend the legs out in front of you. You keep your legs in nice and close. And then reach the arms up and overhead and reach toward the toes. Some of us are going to get toes. Some of us are getting ankles or legs. You can always bend your knees if you'd like to. Let the belly come down closer toward the thighs and let your head get heavy as well. On your next inhale, you'll lift on up again, reach on up from here, and let your arms come back down along your sides. So let's set this up a little bit differently now. We're going to take the blocks away and either roll up a blanket or use your bolster for this next one. If you're using a blanket, the blanket is coming down about 2/3 of the way down your mat. We're coming onto the belly. So if there's any concerns with any recent surgeries, you're either going to take these poses or take a moment to just scroll forward a little bit and we'll figure it out from there. So you're going to rest your hips down on your bolster here, or on your blanket rolls rather, and come down onto your forearms. We'll start here. You want that blanket roll to be below the belly button, but about at the hip creases. Let's just say that, right? We don't want this to be uncomfortable on organs like the bladder. So again, pause the video if it is uncomfortable, use the restroom, come back, and then see if that was the issue, because sometimes it is. And then we're gonna roll side to side. Stay on the forearms for now, even if you can deepen. Just want you to feel what is actually here today. Sometimes we just get a sense, like, I know this is what's happening, but it may not be. So connect yourself with what is actually here. Now, if you need to deepen this, now that you've been here a little bit, feel free to stack the palms and rest your forehead on those stacked palms. If still this does not feel like it's enough pressure or enough for you, set your blanket roll over to the side, take your bolster, set it up in that same position, and then lay down on the bolster and forearms, or bolster and stacked palms. All right, again, we want to be off the belly button. So bolsters are usually larger than the blanket roll. So you want to make sure you're not on your belly button here. All right, so let's give this a few more breaths. Allowing yourself to soften here. And each exhale, you're letting go into the blanket roll or bolster. Softening the jaw and behind your eyes. All right, one more full deep breath. Wonderful. Begin to slowly make your way up. You may have deepened more than you realize, so as you come up, you want to hug the belly in slightly. Then set the bolster or blanket roll over to the side. Come into your tabletop position from here. And let's take some cat-cows. Move the spine around a little bit. Tuck the tail, tuck the chin in. And then open up front body again, hips high. Stay here, or you might add in a down dog the next time. You start to tuck the tail into the cow, or cat. You might tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back. And then come back down to your table and your cow. So you decide, cow to dog or cow to cat. Let's all make our way into a child's pose. Your knees are wide, you're sinking your hips. Feel free to include that blanket roll or bolster again, as we're here to decompress and get cozy. So resting down in a way that allows that to happen. Maybe it's support between the hips and the heels today. We'll take a few moments here just to relax the low back, the hips, and perhaps shoulders and front body. All right, let's take about 3 more, perhaps 4 rounds. And then start to walk your hands back up. If you use that bolster, set it on over to the side and come into some rocking tabletops, rocking the hips forward and back. You're going to open up as much as you'd like to in this. And then before we settle into our final restorative pose, opening up the front body, let's spin open to the right. Your left hand stays down, as does the knee. You'll extend your right leg. You're going to reach the arm up, open up across the heart space, and maybe reach behind you, resting the back of the hand at the sacrum, keeping the length in the neck as the gaze lifts up. And unwind that, reach up and over, find your way back to tabletop. We'll try the other side. Spinning open to the left this time. Reaching the leg out, reaching the arm up, and then perhaps taking that stretch, reaching the arm back as you stretch. Unwind. Beautiful. And then we will take either a block or the bolster and lay it across. We're coming into bridge pose, so if you know which one you like, you can go right into it. If you're not sure, start with the block, then add the bolster, because the bolster is usually taller than the block. So we're on our backs with our knees bent. We have the support ready to go. When you get there, you're going to press to lift the hips up and slide that block or your bolster underneath your hips. Find the position on the sacrum that feels okay to you. You'll keep your feet down, your head relaxed, your arms along your side. And you might even choose to have a blanket under the back of your head, which is typically what I would do if I practiced on my own. And then let the shoulders relax outward. They're supported by the earth underneath them. They don't have to press down because this is restorative. And you can let the breath fill the lungs a little more deeply. Keep the feet down on the mat, or you might choose to extend one leg and then the other for more of a legs up variation. The legs are up, feel free to rotate ankles a couple of times, then reverse the rotation. Bend and soften each knee, bring the feet down to the mat. Lift the hips up to slide that bolster or block out from underneath you. And then hug the knees in toward the chest. Maybe give some shift side to side along the sacrum here. Okay. And then setting yourself up for a final rest for your practice. You'll take your bolster, set it underneath you so that the legs can be supported behind the knees. You might choose to add that blanket behind the back of the head here and just rest your way down. If you need anything else, if you're practicing in a cooler climate and you've cooled down, you might add a blanket on top of you as you're here. Just gonna let yourself soften down to your mat and to the earth. Just a few moments of rest. The mind is still active. Continue to bring focus to your breath on the in-breath and the out-breath. Begin to brush your thumb along the lines of your fingers. Pick up the arms and rotate the wrists. Take a big stretch up and overhead. And begin to rock on over to one side. And press your way up to a seat. Reach the arms out and up and bring your hands through to your heart space or to the lap. Tuck the chin for a moment and take a breath in and a breath out. So you can certainly take any of these poses for longer than we held them here today, but if you like a nice short restorative practice to recharge you and nourish you, I hope you enjoyed this one. Namaste, Valeriecation Yoga, and we'll see you next time.